Hey guys, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Saga MC.
This is the show no one asked for, episode 622. Welcome, and today we are joined by the one, the only Julius from the GOAT podcast, the GOAT movie podcast. Welcome. I'm so happy.
What's up?
Thank you.
How you doing?
Nothing much, man. I expected more fanfare, but I'll take what I can get. I do appreciate this invitation. This is one of the first guests podcasts I've done.
Nice.
I believe
Nice.
I remember doing a spot with Daniel on RGBTV, which was Jonathan's channel, which was a lot of fun years ago. Where we talked about different stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's really cool to get invitations. So this is really fun. I really appreciate the invitation.
Nice.
We are glad to have you. We are very glad to have you. You guys are killing it over at the GOAT. You guys are doing so much. Your reactions, your huge storylines that you guys create out of nowhere. Your fan cast. You guys have a fan cast coming up for X-Men again, or is it?
Yeah.
Or which one is the big one?
I think it's I think it's both, honestly. We did a couple years ago when it was announced that they were coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We did a fan cast video for both, or fan cast videos for both, one with the X-Men, the other with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we got a lot of just hate over the X-Men one because of this one casting we did for Storm. And I'll be honest, my casting wasn't the best, at least, because when Angel came over that night to record, I had to come up with the list like that, So a lot of those choices were like first thought choices.
Yeah.
So for Storm, I think I really pissed a lot of people off when I said, "Oh, why not Paula Patton?" Instead of like a really, and not that I have anything against Paula Patton. I like her a lot as like a action star and everything, but you could do better with Storm,
Yeah.
obviously. So that's what this
Yeah. Storm is such a character that like you can't just give it to anybody. Yeah.
No, yeah, I completely agree.
And you dropped the ball.
Character.
You dropped the ball. I'm glad you're making amends
because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But zing. For those that don't know, Julius, you want to tell people what the GOAT podcast is, like what you guys do, or?
Yeah. Well, it's a podcast on YouTube that is dedicated to talking about most things pop culture, mainly film, a lot of comic book movie stuff, because those pay the bills, and they're a lot of fun to talk to also. But we also talk about some comics. We talk about some video games at points. We do reactions. I mean, Angel did a reaction to the Luke Skywalker cameo in The Mandalorian, and it hit 1 million, which is insane.
That's nuts.
It is really nuts. I mean, the dude is famous at this point. So that's really cool. But we do the fan cast stuff. I like to do my editing. I like to try out different editing stuff on the channel. So I do like fan trailers and little like what if edits, I guess. So yeah, I feel like it's just a place where you can be as creative as you want to be. And there's a community that's been building. Nice. Slowly but steadily especially with the live streams we've been doing that Daniel mentioned.
Yeah, I've joined some of the live streams, and they're fun, man. You guys talk mad shit. It's just talking shit, and it's fun. You guys really dissect like scene by scene for like WandaVision. Those are the ones I joined you guys for. A few of those episodes, and yeah, you guys really dive deep into you don't finish until you finish, right? I mean, you guys keep going until you guys go through every freaking scene. It's really crazy.
Yeah. We love to take our time with it, and I feel like that's what a lot of people, I think, have somewhat short attention spans, but once you get into something that really does move well, it doesn't even really matter the length, really. For example, we were talking a little bit about the Snyder Cut that just came out. For me, it didn't feel like a 4-hour film because I was so involved in it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, if we talk about the length for that movie, I feel like the answer is somewhere in between, right? Like the perfect answer, right? And not that I hated this or anything, and I get that with the Snyder Cut, like this is you know, like if you have one chance, you're gonna throw in everything. Like screw it, cutting out an hour would probably make the better movie, but you're
Yeah.
not gonna get another chance. So screw it,
Yeah.
throw in the other hour, throw it in. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna make a sequel to this. So
Yeah.
epilogue, sure, 40 minutes,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, if you're
know?
pulled off the bench, I mean, you're just
Yeah.
swinging for the fences at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
You're
why
like, wait for the perfect pitch. Nah, man.
no.
I got 3 chances.
I had 3 chances.
Fuck it.
And that's what
Yeah.
that's what this was, and it was, and it hit the mark. I mean, he hit a grand slam, dude.
Okay, so don't spoil it for me, since I'm one of the probably hundreds of people who haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't. I have 2 kids running around, and it's nuts.
And you do need a tent to watch that movie.
Yeah, and it's I'm glad that it doesn't feel like a 4-hour block, but in the real world, it's still 4 hours.
No, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
What's funny about that is when the criticism came out of like 4 hours, what people obviously compared it to, well, why are you okay with that? But streaming, you're gonna binge watch a whole show. But then when you really like, I hear the realities of like from Daniel and from Saga, it's like, dude, that's 4 hours of my time. I have other shit I have to do.
Yeah, I'm willing to put in that 4 hours.
Yeah,
but
you are, but it's not like binging a show, you know, it's a whole chunk of its own thing.
Yeah. And the problem with that though, and as much as people want to like it or whatever, and I liked it, you know, but I worry about the rewatch value. You know what I mean? Like how are you really gonna? How many times are you gonna go? Like Mortal Kombat, that crappy movie, I'll watch every day of the week. You know what I mean? Because it's an hour and 20. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever.
But
like,
then you can go into Endgame though, right? That's a 3-hour movie, and you watched it like countless times, you know.
But that's my point. I know you haven't seen Snyder Cut, but that's why I said that the perfect answer, like let's say in a perfect world where Snyder wasn't pressured, he would have made that Endgame. He would have made that Infinity War perfectly, like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, you know, and it would be a perfect rewatch. I would rewatch that, every day. You're right. I would rewatch it more if it didn't kill 4 hours, maybe 2.5 or 3 hours. I could give it a little more leeway. And the movie, not that there's some things I didn't like, but again, I respect that he threw it all in there because he's like, this is it. This is my swing at bat, like you said. So this is how I'm gonna throw this in and throw this in and throw this. And I enjoyed it. And I saw it like I was in between. So you didn't see it and you saw it. I was kind of watching it like when I opened, I was like, this is so cool. That's so dope.
Well, were you drunk or?
I was kind of. I mean, I was so tired. I was just so exhausted.
They say that's an equivalent, though. They say if you're that tired,
exactly. And it was the same thing. Kids, it was like just a full day, and then I had just put them to sleep. And then when you put them to sleep, you're like kind of in sleep mode, you know. And so then they go to sleep. I'm like, okay, I had been feeling it that day. It was one of those days where the day before I was already tired, and I knew the next day I'm like, man, I'm gonna be even more tired because I'm not sleeping good, and I'm gonna be more tired. So that was the day I was supposed to watch the Snyder Cut, and the whole day I was just kind of like making it through. The girls finally go to sleep, and I was like, finally, I have free time. And I'm gonna watch Snyder Cut. Yeah. So I turned it on and I watched it. I made it about halfway through, passed out. I tried to watch it again from where I passed out, and I was watching it, but it's not fair. I have to rewatch it again, and I'm going to probably either today or tomorrow. But I'm gonna watch it again. But even that being said, I still thought it was dope. Like I still watched it, and I was like, this is dope. This is dope. I don't know what anybody wants to say, but what are you gonna say? I don't know. I think it's basically the first movie plus context. They added context to all the stuff that left you kind of like, yeah, but what? And when you watch the first movie, there's a lot of those moments where you're like, yeah, but why was she there? Or what? Like that joke, really? She was thirsty. You know what I mean? Like weird jokes, and so that They cut out what they needed to be cut out. They threw in what needed to be thrown in. It's essentially the same movie with context, and you enjoy the movie. It's basically the movie, but you enjoy it. It's really cool.
But you enjoy it this time.
Yeah. So then I guess my question to both of you guys, since you've both seen it, one half awake, one fully awake. First off, Julius, you liked it, right?
I did like it. I was actually surprised about how much I liked it, because I wasn't a big fan of what Snyder had done in this world beforehand. You know,
BVS, right? Even you can even point to BVS where you can be like, hey, I don't like that either. You know what I mean? So it's not just because people will point to the tragedy and whatever. And yes, I do agree that the Justice League, you know, that's a part of the problem, a huge part of the problem, obviously, because of the Snyder that proved that. But what I'm saying is, to have your reserves, my reserves came from BVS, right? And from, Man of Steel I liked, but there was certain tones where I could see like, oh man, this is not going where I want it to go. You know what I mean? And BVS prove that. So then I was like, oh man.
So then, you know, my question is for this film, because I remember I talked to you, Daniel, and I said I didn't watch the first one because of how bad the reviews were. Like I was like, I'll watch it. You know, I enjoy comics and I enjoy Batman, and I was like, yeah, let me just dive in. The other, you know, Batman vs Superman, I was like, so then going into this new one, I was gonna be like, I'll watch it. But it was just everyone dumped on it. So I was like, whoa, maybe I'm okay not seeing this one, you know, and just reading about it, right?
Dumped on the Snyder cut?
Yeah, no, before.
Oh, the 2017.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So then
Just
I was like,
this week.
yes. And I was like, I'm not even going to watch it then. I'll just read about it, you know?
Right.
Because it just seemed that bad. Right. And again, as a parent, you're like, man, do I waste my time on this?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. So then I guess my question, and I guess I'm getting Daniel's take, but I kind of want to get your take.
Right.
Do I need to watch the first one?
The first Justice League they released.
Yes.
You know, what's funny is that when we were watching, I went over to my co-host Angel's place to watch it with a couple of other guys, and there were whispers throughout the whole screening of like, wow, they really messed up Cyborg the first time, or like, wow, they really did that the first time. Like, what the hell were they thinking the first time?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a benefit of hindsight, and there's the whole movement, you know, like I feel like you really appreciate the Snyder cut when you see what happened the first time. Maybe that elevated the movie for me in terms of its quality, of my perception of how good it is. Maybe seeing what it could have been and what it before was.
Yeah.
It was like, I love this film now. But do you need to watch it? Narratively speaking, no.
Yeah. But comparatively speaking, probably.
Comparatively speaking, because it might give some context, not even just within the film itself, but outside of it. You know, you see, wow, these guys really don't know what the fuck they were doing. Like,
so I gotta watch a 6-hour movie then. I gotta watch a 6-hour movie. That's what you're telling me.
Well, you could. I'm not gonna force you. I'm not, because I know some people were met like in the theater.
Yeah.
Angel looked at me in this way that I may never forget. It's him, his girlfriend, and then me. He looks over and he's like, dude, he looked pissed at me because I was kind of laughing like, oh, this is dumb. This is fun. I'm going to have fun in the theater.
Yeah.
But he's like, you could either get that reaction or Angel's reaction.
Yeah. But see, so I didn't even think about what you were saying, Julius, about having that added appreciation, and maybe that might skew your love for the movie, because yes, the whole time I was thinking, wait, why did you cut that out? Like, wait, why? And I get the time constraints, but the stuff they left in for the stuff that they left out,
stuff they added,
it made no sense, and it makes you hate the first movie way more. Like I you know what I mean? Like I was already like didn't like the first movie, like, oh, okay, but now I watched this and I'm so confused. I want to know who said to leave out some of this stuff, and some of it is, you know, you talk about the time constraint, but some of it is like a change in dialogue, or a change in, like, it wouldn't hurt the time. It wouldn't hurt the time. I want to know who made these decisions where they add so much context, just an extra scene. Okay, so I'm gonna spoil this, but there's there's an extra scene where they show Lois in the beginning or early in the movie where she gets coffee and she goes every day to the memorial, and they show her giving coffee to a cop that clearly sees her every day. You never miss a day, Lois. You never miss a day. Yeah, I like it here. And he doesn't know that she was in love with, with Superman. But so he just thinks that she's appreciating Superman, and really misses him and doesn't miss a day, and so. But now it adds context in Justice League when she's just showing up when Superman is losing his mind, you know what I mean? And she just shows up. There's no context there, and that's such a small little bit. But the whole movie is like that. Yeah. The whole movie is like wait, what? They just add context to little moments where it's like that. And another example is okay, you'll see when you get it, but there's little changes in dialogue. Like, for example, when Batman and Aquaman are talking, Aquaman tells him something like, there's a, like it says the strongest are strong alone or something like that. And then Bruce Wayne says, no, in the first movie. And he's like, no, but that's not how the saying goes.
That's not the saying.
That's not the saying.
That's the opposite of the saying.
That's the opposite of the saying. And then Aquaman says, doesn't mean I'm wrong. And then he says something else, and he says, you're out of your mind, you dress like a bat. He's like, and you're crazy. And then he like does this dive and he zooms out like a torpedo. And then Batman says, doesn't mean I'm wrong, And so it's so it's like real cheese.
Right.
Well, this one they change it to where it's just a more heavy, it's like a real conversation. It's a real conversation.
It's not among children.
They did add some singing in that particular spot where I could have done without, but for the most part, the conversations, I was just like, oh my God, this is way better. They take out the thirsty joke where Martha says Lois is thirsty in the movie. They take that out, and then they add a heavier, more like a conversation with context. They add a conversation with context. Wouldn't have hurt the time in the first movie at all, but they just add context. But anyways,
it's crazy how important context is.
Yeah, isn't it?
Like, you take out one line and people are super confused. And I don't want to like jump to another topic, but it's still within this realm. So I was watching maybe I think it was yesterday or the day before, and somebody had interviewed what is it, Ja White, Spawn,
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White.
Yeah. I always want to say Michael Jaleel White. But anyway,
Urkel in the Spawn outfit.
Exactly. That's why I was like, that's not him. All right. So they asked him about Spawn, right? And this is an old ass movie, right? But they asked him because Todd McFarlane has been talking about making the remake and whatever, right? So they asked him how he felt about that movie, right? And he was like, that's not the movie that I made. He's like, what they put out was not what we had. He's all, we saw the cut, and I was like, this is good, right? And then they brought in some guy, the director or whatever, is like, gave this other dude just complete control. And everybody just kind of looked the other way, thinking he was going to put out that cut. And that's when he started. I guess he said there was like 96 scenes or something of CGI. Then it became like 200 something, just to put it in, because the guy who was directing was a CGI guy. So he's like, dude, this is my moment. Talk about shooting your shot in the wrong way, right? He's like, dude, this is my chance. I will never direct again. I know it. Boom, just adds all this shit, right? So then we get the cut that we get. And he's saying like, no, it wasn't supposed to be that way. There's a lot of conversations that were left out, and it just looks like Spawn is bitter because this dude is now with his chick, when like that's part of it, but that's not the main arc of Spawn. Like, there's so much layers to that, and they just gave you this movie with hell yeah, like I have these powers, hell yeah, like what? Spawn was never like this fucking cornball dude,
Yeah.
I never read his comic Spawn, but when looking at them face value, it does seem like hell yeah, Spawn, pouches, Todd McFarlane, let's go. But I never.
Only because it came out in the early 90s.
Yeah,
yeah, that's definitely why.
But here's the crazy part though, because this is after the HBO series was already out, the animated movies,
the animated one,
and the animated movies were not like that movie. Like I watched. Yeah, I watched those and I was like, dude, this is sick. Got into the comics, and then they were gonna make a movie. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to find a way to watch this because it was, you know, rated R and everything, right? And yeah, when I watched it, I was like, huh, maybe I'm not that big a fan that I thought it was, because this doesn't seem like what I was used to watching, you know? Violator was cool, you know? John Leguizamo, the best clown you can make. But other than that, the movie was just like some ride that no one knew where it was going. You know, it was ridiculous.
So, things. So there is a director's cut to Spawn, and it's still bad. And so
Ooh.
that it didn't really fix anything, because I don't think it was McFarlane either. It was probably the director.
Yeah, it wasn't
like
McFarlane.
some more CGI. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's for sure like a
scrap.
studio decision. That reeks of
that's why McFarlane's so hell bent on like making his version, because it's like, dude.
And
yeah, you really messed with me the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for all the Spawn fans out there, 2021 is supposed to be the year of Spawn, or this from this until 2022. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the year of Spawn. McFarlane just announced that he's coming out with 4 books. Ooh. And they're all gonna go expand on the Spawn universe. And I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He's trying to. He's smart. He's trying to. And then he's also re-releasing the early Spawns, the Spawn 1, that whole run. He's re-releasing it because he knows that now there's a generational gap, where he was even explaining it. He was saying, and it felt like he was talking to me, because I was a kid. I was like, 6, 7, 8. You know, when Spawn came out, I remember buying Spawn 1 with money I had saved up, and I went to buy Spawn 1. So the craze of Spawn, like, I lived through that. You know what I mean? We lived through that, right? And so he was pointing out how, like, you know, it's the number 1 issue ever, you know, on its release. And so he wants people now to kind of relive through that. It won't be the same, but he wants to re-release that. And he's doing the 4 new Spawn books. And when he announced this, I was just thinking in my head, you're so smart. You know, you're not just going to release a movie. Yeah. Where, like, now you're just releasing a movie and then hoping on the merits of, like, 30, 40 years ago. You know, like, you're kind of creating this little buzz, seeing where it is, and then you coming out with a movie. So there's like some sort of foundation, there's some sort of context. And so it's just really cool. He made that announcement probably like a month ago, but it got me so excited. And he's gonna go through different Spawn characters in each book in Spawn 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know,
that kind of reminds me of how, like, and to jump from comics to music, of how like the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan would, like, he markets the shit out of Wu-Tang a lot of the time. Like, that I've seen so many, like, here's the box, here's the cereal, here's the Castle burgers, like, tie-in, you know what I mean? And when the 30th anniversary, or was it 30th, or it was the 25th anniversary, I believe, of the first album, the 36 Chambers, came out, like, he was really pushing to get like the band in the name. I was lucky enough to see them over near USC. Like, they were really pushing and putting their product out there, because that W, to like Spawn, is a commodity that people want more of, you know? And it just reminds me, like, RZA is kind of familiar as Todd McFarlane in some respects, you know, because they really are like pushing the authenticity of their brand,
their originality. Their originality. They're pushing their originality. I love it.
And they see the bigger picture. Like, in the Wu-Tang history, there are some cash grabs, yes, you know, but for the most
part, the chrome fucking clothing,
but for the most part, you've created something that has withstood this whole time, you know. And maybe it's not as peak as it was, but it's still relevant, you know. And then they understand that, so they're like, we're not going to just put it back out and say, hey, it's the same thing. We're gonna say, like, no, this is the reason they like this at that time. Now you are gonna like this at this time.
Yeah, he's smart, man.
He's a really fascinating guy. I read his book. I listened to interviews with him. Very smart dude. He's kind of like a bit of himself sometimes. It's like, you know, I could put a beat in my head right now and save it for 6 hours later, and that's brain power right there, homie.
That's a good impression. I like that.
I have to work on it.
Has that comic book list. He still has it, even in his
old
age, he still has that little list, like, oh, you're a comic book nerd. You know, it's so funny.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
He's 80.
So I have a question, right? Julius, so
for me?
Yes, for you.
Oh
yeah, I get tired of talking to Daniel, so it's like
right, yeah.
We're making a transition from actually pushing him out of the podcast.
Oh, okay. I can see it.
So yeah.
There are only so many times you can hear, man, I was born in 85.
Yeah.
Batman killed in my day, and that's how we did it.
So my question is, since you've been obviously podcasting for a while, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys have developed a good buzz, and I think you guys, especially now, have got more trajectory and more momentum, right? So my question is, like, what are the, like, when this all started, where did you think, or where did you want this to go?
Oh man, what's funny is there are still things that I would love to happen that I wanted to happen back in when we started, you know, like I always thought that being interviewed by someone would be a cool goal to aspire to. Like there was a point where in the school newspaper, the high school newspaper, that because I used to go to the high school where Daniel worked at, and that's where we would record. We would record in classrooms on the weekends over there. With Angel's camera, his phone, and there came a point where the people heard about it, you know, like faculty would hear about it, students would hear about it, and the school newspaper came up and asked Daniel and I if we could be interviewed for school newspaper. And they pulled us aside. One of the reporters, I think his name is Declan Chin, I think his name is. Cool dude. Yeah. He came over, he asked us a bunch of these questions, and I was just excited that like it was a little high school newspaper, and I was just so excited. I was like, our podcast is getting into print. You know what I mean? Like, that's so cool. So I always thought that would be cool, being asked to guest on another podcast, to be interviewed or something would be cool. But the trajectory, I always just thought it would be ever changing, to be honest, because I think it's different from where it started. You know, from where it started, it'd be like, and it's very similar to where it started also, like meeting once a week, talk about these different movie news topics. But as the years have progressed, I've become, not that I'm against talking about movie news and all that. I enjoy it, especially with the people I talk to about. But that's not my main passion when it comes to this. Okay. It's become less and less my passion when it comes to the channel. My main passion is using what I have to tell, like, stories. Like I told, or I sent to Daniel, and he and I talked about it. I made a little short film earlier this year, just with some action figures, and it had my camera and everything. And I want to do script writing. That's my passion, you know. And I feel like YouTube is a good chance to practice that, you know, to fine tune that skill, and to get good criticism, because I've gotten plenty of that over the years. So I feel like that's more the trajectory I personally want to go to. Okay. If you ask Angel, it may be something different. You know, Angel is definitely the guy who's on top of getting the news topics, getting the information, getting a lot of like collaborator guests. And for me, it's just mainly fine tuning my skill of writing, you know?
Got it. Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome, because I think whenever you start a project or you start something, you understand, you start, you know, obviously getting more and more into what it is, right? And then you start having these ideas of where that could go, and also where you can go with or without that, you know, like it opens up the mind, where you're like, well, I'm doing this, this is somewhat similar related, or I enjoy this when we've talked about it in the past. So now let me test that out, you know, let me see where that goes. You know, so that's good. That to say you only want to do one thing, I think is cutting yourself short, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Because a lot of people, they say, oh, you got to put all your eggs in one basket, you know? And it's like, yeah, but what if at the end of the day, you're like, shit, man, I didn't like this basket or these eggs to begin with.
And then you hear about other people who are not, like, for example, you hear about one guy who can like speak Japanese, let's say. But he can also like fence, and he can also juggle, and he can also this, and he can also that. And not that you should compare yourself to other people, but I do think you should have variety in what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's the
that all comes back and ties into it. It could funnel itself back into what you started with also, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, podcasts was something I always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel wanted to do it. I had a crack at it way before, you know, but it was like, it just didn't work out. And me and Danny would have these conversations and we're like, dude, this is good, man. Why
Mm-hmm.
didn't we record this on like, just on audio? Like we
Yeah.
would just be dying laughing. And then it's like, fuck it. Like he had a near death experience, you know? And I think that kind of was like, yo, let's do it. Like, what's the harm in doing it? You know?
Yeah, no.
Not doing it and talking about it does nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and I think in just doing, like you said, the things, the chips will fall where they fall, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, because Julius, your script writing, I don't know if you've seen it, Saga, but it's like,
I haven't.
It's literally, it's like 5 minutes and it's a conversation between like Drax and Doctor Strange. And it's so well done.
Yeah.
It's really well done. You're like, okay, you watch it, it's stop motion, it's action figure. So you're like, okay, let's see what this is about, right? And then it gets heavy pretty quickly. It's pretty heavy pretty quickly.
Well, see, this is something that I wouldn't have known had you not been on the show. Had none of us do a podcast. 2, we not invite you on, right?
Right.
And 3, not ask that question. So the crazy part about all that is I know Daniel has stories that he's been wanting to create. I have stories that I've been writing. I have a universe in my head. It started off with one story and I thought of another idea and they kind of connected. And then it just became this like world that's living in here, but I need to get it out on paper more. I've kind of wrote the foundation. But it's one of those things like to watch your stuff and then see like, oh, okay. And then maybe pick your brain on how to write it or collab in some way or something like that. Now that's opened another space. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, I completely, that excitement of something in your head is it's excitement, but it's also kind of, there's a worry to it because there's the worry of never doing it or someone else doing it, you know, like I was, and this is kind of nerdy, but I don't care because I love doing it. I did these pitchets of which is like kind of stories. It started with the X-Men in the MCU, like stories like how would I do it? I was thinking one day, how would I do that? You know, and then I just started writing like the very bare bones, like the skeletal thing of a foundation of what it would be. So it's like, okay, maybe that movie could be there, that movie could be there, that movie could be there, but it's, you know, it's like what you said, it's a universe. So you have to get more into detail, more in depth. So I started writing. And then I felt like the more I went, the more I understood that writing was something I really wanted to do. And it's with it's this fan fiction. And then I'm thinking, well, hey man, that'd be cool to record these stories, me reading them. How would I do the characters? How would I do that? And then did the X-Men stuff, then did the Fantastic Four stuff. And then eventually led up to a Secret Wars storyline, which came out in December in 2 parts because it was that big. And I was thinking, man, I want to kind of stretch what I do with podcasts. What I usually do is I just read them to Angel and then we talk about it. But this time I wanted to do something that was different in that I read it to Angel. We talked about it before and after the reading, but I also added music, post-production, sound effects. And I think that's pretty much it. But it was, I tried treating it like an actual film. You know what I mean? Because I was so worried about not doing that. You know what I mean? And it was a struggle, and it was so aggravating at points editing on my computer. It's like, come on, just fucking, you know, like get it on it, you know, the computer's freezing and stuff. But I felt that, like what you guys are saying, I wanted to do it and instead of not doing it.
I will say this though, like, you know, there's always that talk like DC versus Marvel and stuff like that. I will say that my universe in my head will defeat Saga's universe any day of the week. My hero would smash your heroes. It would only take one of my heroes.
Well, what if his universe is like a crime drama or something?
My universe is a nightmare.
It's a noir film.
Yeah, it's a noir film, and he's setting it up against like this sci-fi epic. Oh, I wonder who's gonna win that.
One of them, and I'm Wanda. Do what I want.
Oh my
God. Don't cut that clip and then replay.
Right.
I'm Wanda.
I'm Wanda.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Speaking of, I guess, universes and Marvel and creative writing and superpowers, right, and super beings, what would be your ideal superpower?
Oh man, I've said that I've been asked this once before on the channel, and I said flying, because flying is a really cool one. But at the same time, if you're flying, you just want the powers of Superman, you know, because that would be pretty insane, and all the stuff you could do.
But you can only pick one. Just
oh
one
man,
thing.
one. Oh man, that's difficult because like if you go look at different universes, right? You look at Marvel, so many of the powers they get are like from scientific means, you know, like Peter Parker got bit by a spider and he became Spider-Man, so he got the web swinging and all that. Man, I don't. That's actually pretty tough, dude. Just one. Could it be like a technology?
Like an Iron Man, like a tech, like a gadget. Yeah, I mean, sure. You know, I guess it would be one of your power, if that's what it would be. It'd just be that until it would break. You know, if like you're like, oh, I just want a suit, and it's like, all right, but there's no warranty. Once that's over, you're back to take care. Yeah, you're just you again.
You got to actually know how to use the suit.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's that guy that had the suit and they just let it turn to shit. Oh, what a waste.
Yeah. Well, I always thought the Ant-Man suit would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. But I feel like that would also be kind of like the hybrid of suits, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool.
What would you do, Saga?
So we've had this discussion, right? Many moons ago. I think it was just the healing factor. I think to heal, to not worry about like getting hurt, you know,
or aging.
Mortality?
No, because I mean, no, not immortality. No. So yeah, like a Wolverine, but I mean, he's what, 400 something years old? How old?
He's pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I just want. It's weird because Deadpool doesn't have. Well, I guess he's immortal too.
Well,
so here's what.
They regenerate, you know.
Yeah. So I guess my thing is I don't want to live forever though. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to be healing. Like I don't want to worry about dying, but I don't want to live 400 years.
No, you only get one power, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Then I guess it wouldn't be that. Maybe speed. Maybe speed.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speed is similar to what I would choose because I would choose being able to manipulate time.
Yeah.
Or minds, one or the other, because I feel like it would be the same thing. So
now I remember we had this conversation. I would say speed, and I think you were saying mind control, and you would stop me before you even. But I was like, you wouldn't even see me to stop me.
I wouldn't need to see you. I would just need to think about you. You would just do what I would.
But you do that already, and that has no effect on me. So
where's the power?
Yeah, I don't know the power.
So you'd try to be some Xavier type deal?
Yeah, something, because I figure like if I can just think about it. You saw Jessica Jones, Purple Man.
Oh yeah. Not the best metaphor for you, Daniel.
No, but I'm just saying like I mean, he has a very specific power where you can be around him, but I'm saying you could basically have the same results or the same effect if you were like a Professor X. Everyone in the room, you could just make them pause. Or you could, or what you could do is like, let's say you're playing, just for example, right?
It's too much power, man.
Not that I would just do this, but you could, if you wanted to, you don't even have to tell people about your power, right? So you could be like, you could go far in the NBA and people would be like, what? How are you beating these NBA stars? And you make them just slightly slower than you. You know what I mean? Like slightly.
Oh, so you want the power to cheat? Okay.
Yeah. So what's crazy is like that.
No.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
No. You wouldn't. It wouldn't be good for me to have a power because then villains would just be they would just start going missing.
You would be a villain, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You would be a villain.
No, I'd be
If
like,
your first thing is I would be in the NBA and I would make them slower.
no,
Yeah, I'd make them all slower.
That's why I said, for example, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't
But you thought of it already.
That was your example, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Your example wasn't heroic.
No,
like I could get the hostages out of that building. I could get the criminals into jail automatically.
This is a kid friendly. I'm not trying to get.
I would go to the NBA.
I'm not trying to get all crazy, but yeah, of course.
But that statement leads to crazy though, because you're telling us that you would manipulate somebody.
Right.
Yeah, that's the power. That's the power. The power.
See, like his power is just to shrink himself
or grow.
Yeah, so you're just mad because I would beat you. That's why you're mad, because I chose the better power. That's why.
Because you fixed the game. Right. You fixed the battle ahead of time. Yeah.
All right.
You're that kid when we play and you pick up we're playing finger guns and you're like, oh, I got you. You're like, no, you didn't. I have a shield.
I have a force field.
Yeah, we're not playing that. I'm not even here. I'm invisible.
Power. You asked me what's my power. I just chose one that would defeat any
power of cheating.
The power of cheating.
No, yeah, that's the power. Time manipulate. Imagine if I could manipulate time like that. It would be crazy. I could do.
If I could turn back time.
I'd be worried. I'd be worried.
Your speed. I mean,
I would help people
go backwards.
I would help people. You're over here trying to manipulate them to like you or whatever.
No, I don't care. I'm saying that's an example of how you can use the power.
Why don't you like me? You like me. I do. I like you, Daniel.
Dude, Daniel, I love you, but that is some of the creepiest shit you've ever said.
Do you though? Do you love him, or did he make you?
Yeah, maybe he's got the power. Maybe
I didn't even want to do this podcast.
Off camera, he was just like this.
Yeah.
I would rule with an iron fist. Is basically.
Of course you would.
Well, yeah, I've heard that shit for years. I mean.
Okay, Dr. Doom over here. Jesus.
Hey, yeah. Dr. Doom. If you go to Latveria, there is 0% crime there. You could check.
I bet there are a bunch of happy people.
They are. They're actually pretty happy. They're safe.
They're like this.
It's
we're happy. We're okay.
Yeah. No crime. You're never gonna die. Like that's pretty cool.
Unless he gets rid of you because you thought something else.
Unless you piss him off. Unless you say something about his power, huh?
Hey, Dr. Doom, he got the trains on time.
Huh?
He got the trains running on time. What do you got to complain about?
No, Doom messed up. I was a big advocate for Doom being the ruler, but then they made him God, and we all saw.
Yeah, we saw what happened.
But that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like these guys saying, like, "Oh man, I would tear that ass up. I would figure it out." But then you see what happens when it's their turn to play ball.
Yeah,
and
they just want to make everybody slower.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
See?
Yeah. But what
so Julius, you and I have to team up to take out this guy.
That's true, and I think we would.
You just chose speed as your power. That's meaning everyone is going slower than you. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm not forcing them to go slow.
That's true. I'm
just going faster.
Right. He didn't go in their heads. He didn't go in their like that's like saying Usain Bolt is messing with everyone else on the planet Earth.
It's not his fault he's faster.
Yeah.
They're just slower. He didn't make them slower.
You're just mad because you're not as clever as me. You didn't choose the right power. Because now
this is some cult type Jim Jones type deal, dude.
This is now I can't believe anything he says, or when we play a game, he's just willing to take me out just to benefit.
Look, choose a power. Time manipulation.
You know, I actually changed my answer.
That's what we're doing. We're all choosing right now. I chose the one that you got mad about. It's all good. I get it. You're just mad. I chose time manipulation, and it can beat speed. Like, okay,
I didn't know we were going for trick questions. Control. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah. No. I would change mine to teleportation.
I would
just have to teleport away from you as far as possible.
I'd make you teleport into space or into the middle of the sun.
Jeez. Let's not give this guy a power.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I've been saying for years, man. You should have heard him at the schools, and when we were talking, it's like, man, you don't want me with Superman's powers, man. That's a mistake.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, I think I would just want to elevate my already current way of living. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I would want a power just to elevate it just enough. Like, as a parent, if I could teleport or be faster to do multiple things, good. That's how I'm seeing it. You're seeing it as in like,
yeah,
I
but
want
that's what
Dictator.
that's what time manipulation is. I'd be like, oh, pause, let me cook. Food is done, and then they have no idea that I just made food and it's like done. So it's like teleportation, but it's not really. You know what I mean? It's I'm making the food, and then
so you're Click. You're Adam Sandler and Click then.
Yeah, that's.
I could if I want. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to be.
And
Yeah.
you know what he did, right? Did he punch David Hasselhoff like a billion times in the face?
And then he farted on his food.
Yeah. And he's like, whoa.
Or you
I have
could
this
do,
crazy headache.
or you could do mind control where you just
Did you
pause
put
everyone.
caca in my salad?
you could just pause everyone. So it's see that's what I'm trying to say. Is like if I have the one chance, if someone gave me a bag and was like, choose a power. Like I have one chance. This is my one chance where I get to just choose one power. Speed would be cool. Flying would be cool. But that's what I'm saying. Mind control and time manipulation would be the most useful. You would
for world domination, of
for
course.
the NBA playoffs.
No, or for even cooking food for your kids, like you just said, for literally anything. What those two that I just said would have the same results of what you're saying with speed and so many other applications is what I'm saying with one choice versus choosing speed where you can go fast and there's certain applications there, but with mind control or time manipulation, you have anything you can result with speed, anything you can do, and many more other things.
So how about this?
You know what I mean?
I retract my question. And I'm going to add a little bit of verbiage in there to fill up, you know. So how about this? You have 5 senses. Everyone has, you know, for the most part, people have 5 senses. Which one of those senses, only one, would you want to enhance? I think that's as normal as you can get it to where you wouldn't be a supervillain or superhero.
True.
Well, I know Wolverine has enhanced like smell, but I feel like that would just be like so terrible to have.
For sure.
You know, like everything you smell.
Yeah, it's times 10.
Yeah, times 10. So we have touch, we have sight, smell, hearing, and what's the
taste?
Taste. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can't control these, so you just have them enhanced. That's it. So you can't control how enhanced. So like if you want to look, you can't like be like, oh, I'm looking at this. Oh, now I want to see what's on top of the mountain over there.
Okay, let's say you can do that.
Okay.
Because then that way the smell, you can actually be like, how much do you want to breathe it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Let's say there's a little, like there's a little, you can open your nasal cavity a little wider, whatever.
I was gonna say my answer would be none, probably. Maybe sight.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good where I am right. Like Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken did Robot Chicken did a little sketch where they were parodying Daredevil. It's like, I'm the blind lawyer who can see with my sight and everything. And then all these other senses heroes, based heroes with senses as their gimmick showed up. Yeah. I'm Smell Man, and I smell the shit of the city. You know, like.
But that's what I'm saying. You can control it.
Okay.
You can control it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like I would abuse it. The hearing maybe, but like
you'd always just be listening.
Yeah.
you'd hear what people have to say about you. It's like.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the trade-off. You know, like with everything comes a price, right? So the price is like you'd probably be like, damn, I really want to know what they're saying about me. Damn, I wish I didn't hear what they said about me.
That's what I'm saying. I think I'm good with just where I am.
I think sight for me. I'm good, but I think sight would be an improvement versus a hindrance.
Sight would be really cool. I just think, again, I'm thinking about applications, and I think hearing would probably be the most applicable.
But then, you could hear somebody coming from a mile away. You know,
right?
If they were running after you, you'd be like, huh. You know. But I think sight would be good because there's things I'm like, especially when you're driving. Oh man, dude, if you could see like.
Well, you can get like glasses. There's things that you can.
You can't get glasses to enhance your vision that much, dude. Well, you gonna wear binoculars tied to your face?
I'm just saying it's possible versus like the ears. What can you do with your ears, really? Oh, you can
get hearing aids.
Hearing enhancers.
Yeah,
those things. Yeah, you can, I guess. But if we're talking like superhuman level, like let's say you could like
it'd be cool if you could cancel out hearing.
Great, like you can see. Awesome. You can see.
Yeah, but I can see like into space if I want to.
Yeah, right. But what does that do if I stab you in the back? But if I had hearing, then I would hear you coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I saw you pick up that knife at the store.
No, you didn't. You were staring.
I saw you.
You were staring at.
No, but before that, I'm always watching you. I'm always watching you. I'll just know where you are at all times.
Who wins?
I don't know. I don't know if someone who's like looking up into space is gonna be like an enemy of someone. Like who's he gonna piss?
I know, right? Exactly. Like, this fool's he gets a power, and his first objective is to take me out. Or I'm looking at space.
Every time my hearing would be.
I'm like, hey kids, look, I can see galaxy. Oh, what the?
I could see the Andromeda galaxy. I could see how many asteroids are flying through it. How many comets?
I can help scientists by saying, hey, this is coming to our universe, our galaxy. Right. And Daniel's over here.
Daniel's just like, I want to take that dude out.
Trying to be a ninja.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, well, you can't hear me, so I'm gonna do this.
Daniel, not every mutant is on the X-Men team.
Yeah.
Some that are like the fry cooks, some that have like extra arms to like vacuum more.
Have you seen My Hero Academia? Have you seen that?
Oh, not yet.
I started watching a little bit of it. Yeah. I think I watched like the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, I was telling you to watch it, especially because it has like a mix of something that you've tried to explain to me before in your head.
Yeah,
but
it's different than what I was creating, so it's good. So, but yeah,
it's a school. They train fools. You know what I mean? But the quirks are superpowers, and you can't choose your superpower. You can't choose if you even have one. It's like people are born with random quirks. And I just got turned on to My Hero. I've known My Hero has kind of existed for a long time, and I watch anime here and there, whatever. But I never watched My Hero, you know. And I finally started watching it this last year, or last 2 years ago, or whatever. And no, it was last year, but it's really good. And but anyways, the quirks, you can't choose your quirks, so it could be anything. It could make you look weird. It could be useful. It could be applicable, or it could not be applicable. It could be literally nothing. It could be like totally useless and just, you know, either make you look weird or not, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. But there's this whole like rules set of it, and it dives into how that's. You know, it's interesting, like how people without powers feel, how people with powers feel, how people with certain powers feel versus other powers. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, if we had a choice, if we can choose, I mean, I'm going to be thinking about a lot of things. I'm not going to be, I did too. Voice. The one genie is right in front of my face right now. What am I going to say? He's like, hey, I can snap my fingers, you get one power. I want to fly. Like, yeah, flying is cool, but like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to help your
what if you have vertigo?
I don't know. I just think there's other applicable, you know, there's power.
But that's why I nailed it down. And you're talking about, I can hear everything. But see, the thing is this though. Yeah, you can hear me coming. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be silent when you're trying to walk up to me. You're still making loud noises. You're not more stealthy.
In a fight, or like let's say we're meeting up at some place to fight, and we have guns or whatever. Your sight isn't really gonna help. Like that.
Okay, it is when I'm a sniper on the roof. And you're like this. We're supposed to meet here.
Yeah, but
I don't hear him.
I don't hear him. How would I not hear you? That's my power. You can't say I have sight and then you don't.
But the thing is, you're not going to be able to isolate the sound.
How not? You said we can control it. We can control what we hear.
But you'd have to know what you're isolating. No.
What? Like
if I'm on a rooftop, listen to this. If I'm on a rooftop 4 houses down.
Can I hear or not? Can Superman hear? Can I hear like Superman or not? If I can hear like Superman, I'd be able to hear you.
Okay. But see, the crazy part is you'd be able to hear the bullet coming. You're not going to run faster.
No, right. But super sight isn't X-ray sight. So I think if you had X-ray sight, then that would be useful. Seeing through, you can.
Well, let's say it's pistols at dawn, like what you're picturing.
Yeah.
Isn't he going to be able to see better? You about to get your gun?
I guarantee. If we ask any freaking military operator at any location, and we ask them, hey, what would you want going into battle? Would you want to have sight? You can't see through stuff. You just see better. You see good. Or would you want to hear much better? They would all choose hearing. I guarantee you. mention it in the comments, whatever, but I guarantee you, in a gunfight, if I'm meeting you somewhere and we're gonna meet at this place, I guarantee you 100% of the time, they're all gonna choose hearing enhanced, not sight enhanced, because
I don't think so, because like weapons have to do with
building
sight
better.
though.
I can see the building better. You know
But-
what I'm saying?
but weapons have to
You
do
can
with
aim
sight.
better.
Yeah.
I can see the door better, but I already see the door. That doesn't help me in any way. But if I'm behind the door and I can hear better, I can hear the people. I can count how many people there are. Maybe.
Okay.
You know,
Okay,
it's much more useful.
Okay, but the bottom line would be this though.
I see 20/20 now. Great.
Okay,
No,
I would feel better. I would use my touch in that instance.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess.
But you see what I'm saying? Like the sight.
You would feel Daniel's pain because he chose the wrong power.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
Because the thing is, listen, I think
how you guys. It's
because you can hear me, yes, but that doesn't make you run faster. So as you hear me and you run away, I'm just gonna be like that, like, oh, boom, yeah, there you are. I got you.
No,
I saw you.
No.
From 100 miles
That's
away.
not, you're acting like you're set up and then I'm not set up and I'm walking into your trap. We're meeting into a place, all right? Let's say
You're right.
We're the school. We're gonna fight at the school.
How about we meet at a park? We'll be at a park.
You would lose. Aside if we're evenly matched, like let's say physically and training and everything.
Okay.
If I had enhanced hearing and you had enhanced sight and we met at a park to fight, you would lose. But
here's the thing though. Why do I have to meet there if I could see you from far away? You're like, hey, we're gonna meet at dawn.
We just know the meeting place is there.
Exactly.
You can't see me. You can just see better. You can't see me. You can't.
Why can't I see you though? If I could see you from like if I have a scope for an eye, I can see you from a mile away. You're there listening. Okay, but I see you.
Can't see through buildings, dude. If you're standing here and I'm right now, look to your left. Right now, look to your left. You have enhanced sight. How far can you see? How far can you see?
But could you hear me from there though?
You have enhanced sight. Look to your left.
I get what you're saying.
Look,
yes.
Look how much can you see? How far can you see me?
You're right, but you just said we're at a place. So we're out in the open.
We're on a flat. If we're coming to this, oh my God. If there's a place, there's a place.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
Like this on the floor, you don't have a helicopter. You're not nothing.
Yeah.
Here we're meeting. We just know the place is here. You don't know where I'm coming from. Nothing. You don't know. We just know that this is the meeting place. Seeing the place better doesn't determine where I'm coming from. That doesn't mean I'm coming from the place that you can see me. Like
okay, but what I'm saying is
I know you can use eyesight. So I'm gonna be hiding. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is the meeting place, right? No, I'm gonna be hiding. Your sight isn't gonna help that if I'm hiding. Hearing is gonna help if you're hiding. It makes no difference. You can hide.
Though?
Doesn't matter. I can hear you. Doesn't matter. You far.
But you still have to get me though.
Right.
At some point, right?
I know where you are and you don't know where I am. If we met at a park and if you're at a tower, yes. If you're at a tower already.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to just show up.
Yes, if I can see, because we both agreed at a meeting place. So we're both just showing up. And then we decide, okay, what are we doing? But that doesn't help. Eyesight wouldn't help you. You get to the place. I get to the place. And you're like, okay, we're having a gunfight. I need to get higher ground. I know that. So I'm hiding. You seeing better, you can see better. But I'm hiding. There's no way. I know exactly where you are because I just need to listen for a second for you to move. Now I know exactly where you are, and you still can't see me. I'm in a hole. So it doesn't. But the thing is, I could literally be behind a tree. It doesn't even matter. I don't have to be in a hole. I could literally just be behind a tree and just wait.
True.
And then that's it. That's what I'm trying to say.
But again, is you can't pinpoint if that's me walking around.
But you said we could at the beginning of choosing our thing. We can control how much. You can't see X-rays, right? You can see better. So I can see in front of me. I can read a book, and I can see far away. But
that's the same thing for you, though. You can't pick and choose what you're listening for.
No, yeah.
Like if there's things behind a building, you can't be like, oh, I know that's Patrick versus that might be somebody else.
If me and you agree to meet there and fight, then I know we're fighting, and I know I'm gonna be listening to things, and I can hear super hearing. You can pinpoint like a versus a like. I'm just saying, I'm not going to know exactly. I'm just saying it's way more useful than eyesight. I don't ask any cop, ask any person that's ever been in a gunfight. Trust me.
We'll see.
A gunfight, hearing is much more important than seeing. Trust me.
I don't think it's much more important, because if you can't see what you're shooting at, then it doesn't matter if you can hear it.
Right. But you're in the same boat. You keep applying one thing to one way, but not the other way. Right. You also can't.
So then we're both at a disadvantage still then.
No, because I can still hear. I still have a one up on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it exactly pinpoints, but eyesight is literally useless in that situation. It's not useless. You see clearer, and you see if I were to be in an open area. If I'm not in an open area, your power is useless. If I'm literally just behind something. Look, you have superpower.
I get what you're saying.
Your power is now useless. You look, you're hiding, still not useless. My power can still determine where you are, maybe or maybe not. You know what I mean? You'd have to.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
Specifically, it's like I don't even know if that's even possible. Like if that's even possible, not to determine like a rat sound, a leaf falling versus like someone with a gun or loading their clip. Or you know what I mean, certain things like that, where I would be able to hear at it not even entering the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? You seeing you if we're both flat coming this way, I can be anywhere. That doesn't matter. I can be anywhere and you wouldn't be able to see me, and I can be anywhere and I'd be able to kind of hear you. You know, would I be able to tell it's you? No, but I don't know. Maybe it depends.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like that causes more of a hindrance for you, because you're hearing things. You're not sure if that's me though.
I mean, that
I'm not being distracted by all these different noises now. I'm just like, oh, I either see him or I don't.
You would never be able to. You can't use a weapon. You wouldn't be able to load your clip. The second you loaded a clip, I would know what.
Okay, but are you gonna run faster? You're not. You're still gonna get hit.
Like, you, and I guarantee I'm faster than you right now. So there we go. So
I don't think so.
There we go. So that's I'm already faster. So I already.
But if you're running away and I have better vision, I could still. Like, oh, you can keep running. That's fine.
Why would I run? I would hide. I know you're. I'm not dumb. That doesn't. You know.
Julius, what do you think? What is your final take?
This is like, I would love to talk about politics now.
And
Jesus
religion.
Christ. And religion and this vaccination stuff. Have you guys gotten your vaccination?
I have not.
The problem is, we've been married for a few years now, and it's not going well.
He has great hearing, but he can't hear my complaints. Why is that?
You're not paying attention, though.
I thought you were the therapist. Julius, I thought you were the therapist. My bad. Sorry.
But sometimes they gotta hash it out and realize what comes from it.
Julius, the thing is he has super sight, but he doesn't see me.
Yeah.
He doesn't see who I am.
You know, I feel like this is just like Daniel's like Amber Heard and Saga's Johnny Depp in this situation.
Wow.
Because this is honestly this is just I don't know. I don't know what I just lived through.
I don't know.
The podcast version.
You haven't even lived. That's the thing. You have to go through a little bit of, screaming.
A little bit of dirt under the fingernails.
Exactly, to really live.
I'm gonna sue you for this quality of therapy. What is this?
I know.
Dude, you made our.
I thought I was doing my job.
I thought you said special therapist, not special guest. My bad. I was very confused.
Exactly.
It turned from special therapist to special needs to special victims unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Bare knuckle boxing.
And no one, and like a lot of Law and Order episodes, it didn't end well.
No,
yeah. Still as confused.
Still confused. Yeah.
So I have not got the vaccine. Have you guys got the vaccine?
No, I know some people who have though,
okay.
And they were a bit worried, obviously, because people are worried about getting vaccine, but it's just one shot, and then I think a couple of weeks later it's another shot.
Yeah.
Second shot is where you get the you feel it,
Yeah.
Like the effects. But my friend who had felt the effects is fine now, completely fine now.
Cool.
So that's pretty good.
I mean, I'm pretty safe, and I'm not partying or anything, so it's not that I'm not gonna get it. I'm just kind of waiting, I think, for the Johnson & Johnson one, and then
when is that supposed to come out?
I don't know. If I knew, then I would tell you. But no, I mean, I'm I'm glad that steps are being made, and it feels like we are finally kind of getting out of this world that we've been living in for over a year. Like, what is the one thing you want to do again when everything is, let's say, restored?
Well, I mean, the number one thing I would have said maybe a year ago is hang out with friends, but I've done that since. I've done that, but I've been, careful about it. Always make sure to be like, look, you got to be careful. Masks are going to be there and all that, and all that stuff. But honestly, the movie theaters is for me the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of movies I've seen that I wish I have seen in the theaters.
Yeah.
But there are others that were supposed to come out in theaters. I'm like, I'm glad that didn't come. I didn't see that.
Like, I mean, Godzilla's coming out, and I'm a huge fan, but so like that's one that I want to see in IMAX.
Yeah.
Like these two crazy Goliaths, and to see it like on a 60-inch screen, it's like, it's cool at the comfort of your own home, but
not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same. I think the only closest substitute that I'm going to be lucky enough to have is probably going to Angels, because he has that big screen, surround sound.
What sucks is, like, whether you're Kong or Godzilla, we all understand that the whole point of this movie was to watch it on like
it's a big epic.
What the heck, bro? Like, we don't want to.
I think it's coming out in theaters, though. It's still going to be out in theaters.
Yeah, you get that option.
Yeah, so
it's just,
we'll see what happens there.
I'm not doing that.
Spoiler, Godzilla wins.
Hopefully. Yeah. Rightfully so.
Spoiler alert, Daniel's mad about the results out there. Okay.
Yeah, I will be for sure if that I don't. Yeah, but I think for me, I want to. I enjoy doing, the podcast like this, but it's different when you're in the room with somebody.
It is.
Like it's kind of like what they say, you're feeling the room or reading the room, right? And there's only so much you can do like this,
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get back into to seeing Daniel's ugly face in person. Like, I just want to see
smelling Patrick's beard, Saga's beard,
right?
Distract me.
Watch out, he's gonna hear you talking that shit while you're on your way to his place.
Exactly.
I'll see him from my car in his window. I'll see if he's in the window or not. If I can't, then I can't.
Okay,
at my curtain.
He just bought himself like 5 different times where I'm gonna cut him off. Okay, all right, good. Keep talking.
Watch this. Look. Defeated, curtains closed.
Hey, no, come back. No, it's just different. I saw my cousin for a year. Like, I haven't seen my cousin in a year.
Oh, okay.
He came down yesterday, and he hasn't seen my son because my son has been born the 14th of March, and literally he's been in quarantine all his life.
Wow.
That's
so wild.
So for him, he's stranger danger. He just turned 1, and he's just like, oh, I don't know you. But it's crazy. Like, my cousin came over, and I was like, dude, he's still masked up. He has both his shots, and I had my mask anyway. But it was just like, man, I haven't seen you in a year.
Yeah.
Like, for someone who I've seen more often, and like, he was jaded. I mean, not jaded. He missed out because he had got married the year before, and they were going to go on a honeymoon and travel to London. And that got canceled, and they only got like 70% of their money back.
Wow.
And then they were going to travel maybe in this next year, but we're still not sure, so it's like,
no, dude, it's a lot of stuff is unsure right now. I feel like there is this air of it getting more back to normal, but there's still a lot of people who don't trust the vaccine, the solution, as it were. And I mean, I understand skepticism, but I feel like there is a lot of inconsistency in a lot of the criticisms of vaccinations, whether you believe in them or not. There's a lot, like, I saw this special on the TV the other night where it was this GOP senator, representative, whoever, and he was talking to all these people who were mainly conservative in their opinions on the vaccine. And a lot of people were like, I don't know what the long-term effects are. I don't know what this is. And some of them were bringing up valid points, but so a lot of it came down to, I don't trust the fucking government. And I thought that was ironic because Trump, when he was at those debates, he was bragging about how fast he got that vaccine happening. You know what I mean? Like he was saying, no, we're gonna have it by the end of the year. Watch out. You know, like it's like, you were okay then, but not now? I mean, is it different all of a sudden? You know, is the vaccine itself different?
I think the issue is that government lies, like they just do, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I mean, I also believe that there should be certain things that government and citizens, they don't know, you know what I mean, like citizens don't know about government things, you know, whatever. There's things that are above our pay grade, basically. But we do know throughout history that governments lie, people in power and lie, people in not power lie, people lie, you know. And so we know this to be true. And so although that is a fact 100%, that the government has lied, people lie, rich people, poor people, everyone freaking lies, everyone tells the truth too, you know. And it all happens. But because that is a possibility, and we know we can point to examples where governments have lied, ours has lied, then people don't trust when we need to trust, right? So like, you know what I mean? It'd be like if we were three rulers or whatever, or if, you know, me and Saga were president and we rule over Julius, we keep telling you these lies, but then there's this one time we're like, oh shoot, there's a vaccine, we really need you to take this, dude. And then you're like, I don't know, dude, fool me once, you know what I mean? And so now it's like, now people don't trust anything because they're just a bunch of freaking liars. There's no transparency with politicians and all,
and they're fucking bought.
So then no one even knows. I mean, other than like, you know, specific things coming out of people's mouths, like politicians saying things out of their mouth with video or recording or whatever, then people don't even really know who's right or who's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then when I feel like the way to look at it is just the clear-cut science of it, understanding the process of how vaccines are tested and then distributed, what goes into it, what it actually is. But then people start, like, this is the year of the conspiracy, not the year of COVID. This is the year of the conspiracy. Like, and it
crazy conspiracy.
Yeah, and you see all these other countries that aren't dealing with the ramifications of this on the level of us, like New Zealand. Like I think Europe is dealing with vaccines. Are they dealing with it better or worse?
I actually don't know the numbers, so I don't know if what places are doing better than other places. You know,
So I'm kind of lost.
Well, because the numbers were always changing. No one knew anything. The numbers are skewed, and everyone's skewed. So like, I don't know. I kind of just started you know, paying attention to your own circle and like what you can't control, like in that stuff. But I don't know if you guys know the numbers of who's doing what all over the world. No, right?
Well, it's been more than 400 million people who've been vaccinated in the world.
Oh, vaccinated.
That's crazy.
Yeah, vaccinated in the world.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna get back to normal soon. You know.
Yeah. Are you guys worried about it at all? This vaccination?
As long as we don't turn into those creatures like Rick and Morty.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know. We've had vaccinations. We've had vaccines. Yeah. We need them, and I don't know. I don't think this is. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's what we got to do right now. You know what I mean? Like staring at us straight in the face. We got to take a vaccine right now. You know, is it whatever the problems that we may or may not have? We'll see what happens later. But right now we have to deal with COVID, and this is seemingly the answer right now in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's what we got to do. You know, so
this is what turns us into mutants. And makes us have super hearing.
This is the next stage.
I have to bring it back. I'm sorry.
The next stage. Yeah. This is the next
hey,
stage.
But you never know. Like evolution, you know, we don't know what's next, or maybe this was part of that. You know, to see who's immune or who can create immunity, and then kind of just go forward from there, right?
So I saw
move into that herd.
The herd thing, the herd immunity or whatever.
Yeah, herd immunity.
I was gonna say that you're talking about evolution. I saw on Joe Rogan one time they were talking about evolution, how aliens, what if they're us? You know, because you know, people didn't mix, you know, before, and as we see, like people are mixing, and eventually will be like one one race, one species, one thing, you know, an actual species, like a humankind. And what if aliens are just us from the future, and they've advanced that much, they've understood that they don't need, you know, they've evolved past everything to be able to travel in space, I guess, you know, or whatever, or through time, whatever the heck. But it's an interesting thought, you know. People
do you believe in aliens?
Less gender, you know what I mean? Like you know how aliens don't really have gender? Like
it's just one. We're all one.
Getting
more pansexual.
That's what I'm saying. Like getting eventually. I mean, obviously, right now that's not really the case. But if you're thinking thousands of years, what if that's the case? We eventually get to that point, you know.
Well, I mean, we know evolution to be more or less a fact. You know, like we can look at all the fossils. Fossils have been dug up for centuries at this point, whether it be fish or whether it be the ape ancestors we had millions of years ago. And I actually saw some cool documentaries, some little specials about how they were going in like northern Africa, brushing up in the deserts. They found like these, like a small child apish head, like this big, you know what I mean? So obviously we're constantly changing and growing. And you see that it's almost as if we're trying to do that ourselves, you know, with all these different sexual variants we have, in terms of, like, you have the LGBT community, you have people who are coming out as this and that and this. So I feel like we're constantly trying to add variety within our own culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Physically, though, who knows what we'll end up being? I mean, I love watching Star Trek, but it's like hundreds of years in the future and we still look the same. You know what I mean? So I'm very curious if that will remain the case or if it will deviate in some ways. You know, you see all these, like, one of the coolest things about, like, you see these like National Geographic exposés on like tribes people and what they do physically to themselves. Like they have the lip, I don't know what it's called, but
the plate,
the plate on their lip,
the disc or whatever,
the disc and everything. They extend their necks and everything. They're physically changing themselves. So I'm curious how that's going to progress as time progresses. But as for aliens, I know that the government considers something real, because they released the video last year of that UFO, whatever it is, whether it be an alien or whether it be something they're doing. I think it'd be interesting. I feel like just that video alone should change people's perceptions on humanity. It should get them to think of themselves from a third perspective, instead of the human deficiency of me. It should turn into us. Because if there is something else out there and they're viewing us, what type of image are we going to send? And if this past year was any indicator, it's a society based on fear and selfishness and corruption. And I know that's not what the potential of people holds. You know, I feel like people worry because they are worried about themselves, but they worry about loved ones, like, you know, people staying home, getting vaccinated. They want to keep other people safe. But I feel like Gary Shandling said it the best. We need something in our culture that shows that there's a merit to authenticity and heart. You know what I mean? Rather than just greed and how are we gonna control the world.
I had read somewhere where I guess some former Israeli space guy, he came out and he said something like the aliens aren't ready or something. Like they said we're not ready. Like they said they're there, but they don't want to make themselves publicly known because we're just not ready because of all those things that you just said, you know.
I feel like if
they're not, but that's believable, you know.
Well, I feel like if there are aliens and if they have the technology to travel to see us, I would imagine that they feel that we're not ready, or they wouldn't want to take the risk on coming here to dominate because of all the shit that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to like, you know, in MMA and when you're playing sports, you study your opponent, right? But I feel like if us as a society or as a world, we have so many different components that an alien group would be like, man, like this is not just one thing we have to take care of, you know? Like they all have nukes, they all have this, you know, maybe they don't have the end all be all technology to come in, wipe us out, and then keep the Earth. They're like, the risk is probably too great to come in and say, hey, we're here.
Well, even if, like, let's say us, we come across a civilization, let's say, like that, you know, and we're advanced. We're not gonna want to mess with it at first, you know. I mean, we're gonna be like, oh, okay. And let's say we eventually want to go down and speak to somebody. We're not speaking to a somebody. We don't even know who we're talking to. We can make an agreement with one person, but there's 200 other nations that we have to broker an agreement with. Like, what the heck? How is this? We came to a planet and there's a species here. Let's talk to your leader. And we're like, we don't know. You know? Exactly. So if we don't even know like that, like one person that can, or not one person, but like a body that can represent us, a culture or something that is like, you know what I mean?
All encompassing.
We still have people that exist that are like hate others because their skin tone is a little lighter or darker, you know, or vice versa, or they have a, you know, a hair that's longer or shorter. But it doesn't really, it's really insane. So we still have this. How are these advanced beings going to be like, do we even really want to, what are we going to gather from this?
Like, what illnesses are we going to get from
this? Let's just look at them. It'd be like us, like, not, you know, we can study ants and we can study other animals, but you know, we're not getting from, they're not at the table with us. We're studying them. I feel like if anything, aliens are studying us like that. We're not at the table with them. We're not, we're still kind of like just creatures just kind of scurrying about our little rock and doing our thing. But I that's why I believe that when I heard that, I was like, oh, that sounds like it makes sense. Is it true? I don't know. But it sounds like it makes sense. Like we're not ready. I mean, look at this last year. Like, we have no idea how to handle, you know, a pandemic. We're gonna handle aliens. Like, oh, dude, come on.
Well, the who you were referring to is Haim has said, the former head of Israel's defense ministry, who said this, that they were around. It was like this federation type deal, and Trump knows about it. You know, but you know, I don't look. As far as I'm concerned, and maybe this is the human side of me, but I'm focused on me and me progressing. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do with that information other than think of myself in kind of more of a third perspective and be like, okay, what can I do to kind of improve on myself? You know what I mean? And as a human, I'm going to make those mistakes where I maybe a couple steps back, have a bad day and all that, but I'm trying at least, you know, and I think that's all we can do is try, you know, but there are going to be people who are not going to try.
Yeah. And I agree. And you're talking about, making yourself a better human and all that. So let's talk about that. Are you going to school, or like, what's the eventual goal? Like, I know you wanted to make a movie, and you expanded about like how you wanted to make movies and stuff like that for your YouTube. But you mentioned something about honing that skill on YouTube and practicing. What are you practicing for? Like, what is, you know what I mean? Like, if you are going to school, if you are practicing on YouTube and honing your writing skills, your editing skills, your filmmaking skills, for what? Like, what is it? You know, like, what you have something in mind, or
well, it's hopefully to do that professionally, to actually write professionally and hopefully direct one day, whether it be for television or radio or whatever it is. I just want to do it because it's something that I've always just wanted to do. And I think that the trouble is figuring yourself out before going for the dream, because I feel like a couple years ago when I was starting film classes and all that, I felt like I was too into myself. You know what I mean? I was too ego driven. The glamour of the job got to me more so than the love for it. You know what I mean? Like, I am the most fucking, I am it. You know what I mean? Like, it's me. Don't fucking even try. And I felt like that reflected in my behavior, and it kind of, it cut ties with other people who wanted to do it because they really cared about it. You know what I mean? And now it feels like I have to go for the dream because I actually do love it. And I have to let that ego shit behind, because it's not going to do it. Like, I'm not, it's just another person. You know what I mean? who's trying to do it, because there are plenty of other people who are going to be better than me, plenty of other people who are going to not be as good as me, you know. So it's all people by the end of the day. And I feel like I have to work on myself first of really just being comfortable with that, you know, being comfortable with the fact that I won't be the best or the worst, you know, just me.
It's all relative, you know. We're all in this race together, but for different reasons and for different places, you know. It's sometimes, you can get caught up in the, well, that person's doing it, or that person's that far ahead, man, like, why am I not there, or this, that, and the other thing. But those two are not, they're parallel. Like, you're not in the same lane, and it doesn't have, you know, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And also, like, to your point, being passionate is a lot different than just wanting to do something. Like for me, for music, like, of course I would love to make money off of it, you know, and have a sustainable income just off of that. But I don't get up thinking like, okay, I'm gonna make this song because it's gonna make me money. You know, like, I go in like, oh man, this is a sick beat, sick melody. Oh, it's speaking to me in this way. I want to write the best song I can make for me and for others to enjoy, you know. And all that other stuff that hopefully it comes. If it doesn't, then at least I know that I'm doing something that I really want to do, you know?
Exactly. You basically put your arm out, you know, you extended yourself through the artwork. And I think that's the main goal. I mean, with stuff that I've written, stuff that I'm writing and wanting to write, I feel like it's just getting better at communication, you know what I mean? And that's something that I think I've had trouble with in the past, is being able to communicate. Get my thoughts across. It's whether it be stuttering or not knowing how to phrase something, and then that leading to a whole other argument or controversy and someone misunderstanding what I'm saying. I think whether it be your music or what I'm writing or what Daniel's writing or anything, I feel like that is opportunity to communicate better. You know what I mean? And I mean, I've recently written some stuff with that in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel good about this thing that happened in my life. How do I say that? You know? And I don't know who to talk to, so I'm just going to write it down. And I feel like that's the best way to work, you know? Because I feel like at least that keeps it authentic. And there's a worry, because once you do become successful, there's the worry that it may become less authentic. You know what I mean? You look at, like, we brought up Wu-Tang earlier, where you had this insane album, one of the most redefining albums in hip hop underground stuff, with Enter the 36, right? But then, you know, they start adding more stuff, like what's the Wu-Tang Forever, which is a cool album, but it's not, there's something missing from where they started, you know. And maybe it's that authentic, like, I'm giving it my all. This is it. So I have to do what I have to do in this first album.
And it's very hard to top yourself, you know, especially if, like, the first thing you put out or the first thing that gets notoriety is a grand slam. You know, you have the self-doubt that's like, man, how am I going to beat that? How am I going to top that? You know, and then you have that, I guess, also that awareness that I have to beat it, I have to top it, you know. And again, like, it's kind of like live and die by the sword kind of thing, you know. Like, you can't let it consume you, because then what you're going to create is not what you would have created had you not thought of that, you know.
Because you were being authentic beforehand. When you made that banger the first time, you were being authentic in that, I love this. But the second time, you were being authentic in that, I'm scared. And it shows in the artwork. And
again, that's all perspective based, because it could be, oh, like, I like this because it's not that.
That's true.
But again, that's the thing. That's the beauty of, I guess, everything. It's not, at the end of the day, you have to enjoy it, and what you put out, you have to feel good about. Because if tens of thousands or millions of people like your shit and you don't like it, then, I mean, that's why we see, like, these celebrities that have millions of dollars, and then they, you know, they off themselves. It's like, it's not about, people think that it's about getting where other people want you to be, you know, and that's not necessarily the case. You could have a lot of shit and feel like shit, you know, or you can have less and feel great. So you really have to be careful, you know.
I feel like the critics who would say that type of thing, like I heard that when Robin Williams took care of himself, you know, I heard that type of criticism of like, why you have all this success,
Yeah.
adoring fans, money, and all that. Why
Yeah.
would you even? You're living a better life than me. The people who are saying that would, I think, would be very shocked if they were in that same situation, how close they would feel in
Yeah, for
that
sure.
to
Yeah.
him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's the saying that all criticism is self-criticism, and I find that to be true in a lot of cases. You know, like when I was like judging something, whether it be you know, if someone's having a good time and I wasn't having a good time, it's the reason I'm judging is because I'm not feeling good about myself in the
Yeah.
moment. You know, and it's like where's how do you get around that? What's the answer to beating that? And I feel like the answer is that you just have to constantly be on top of yourself.
Yeah.
Or just constantly putting in effort, right? The effort of
Right. Yeah.
like trying has to be there because you're
Yeah.
gonna fail. And I think that's why people are so down on themselves. But they're afraid to make the simple little compulsive mistakes. So
Yeah.
so like let's say me and you, or us, let's say we have a hard topic to talk about, like sight versus hearing, let's say. You know, just, but what I'm saying is like if that, like, have the conversation, have the conversation, make the mistake, be impulsive, or try and have some restraint and some self-control. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
saying go out there and be like, you go insult whatever, but I'm saying have that conversation that might be tough, or you might make the mistake, but in doing, right? Like, you only find these things in doing. So do it. Face your fear. Have that hard conversation you don't want to have. Talk to the person that you need to talk to, but you
Yeah.
don't want to talk to. Do those things, because once you get through the wash, you're going to see that it wasn't really that bad. It's just a minor mistake versus not doing it, let's say, not doing it. And then now there's this big problem. There's this big gap. You've let it fester. It's this whole thing because you didn't deal with it. You know what I mean? And humans are going to, that's like the part of many things that make up what a human is, a human condition, is making mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being able to comprehend it and analyze it and then do better like a different time. But that's two doings already. That's two attempts already.
Yeah.
I failed the first time, and then I analyze, and then I do it again. So really, it's just about attempting. It's not even about analyzing. It's not about failing. It's not about winning. It's not even about any of that. It's just about attempting.
Yeah.
Attempt. Everything will fall into place as you're attempting things. You know what I mean? You keep doing things,
Yeah. Well, it's funny that because now we are in this different climate where it's a lot of people's mistakes are being brought back out in the moment, whether it be a mistake or whether it be a choice of like, the guy made a joke about this, the guy said this about this person. They're all being brought back. You know what I mean? But that remains inconsistent. Like, for example, recently I posted like a fan trailer of the Fantastic Four in the Marvel universe and everything. And I was like, I just want to do it. It's cool. I want to try something different here. And I thought it was cool. Like, I really enjoyed making it. I put it out there, and obviously you have to fan cast because they obviously have not casted these people. So I was like, Ansel Elgort, I think he could be a good Johnny Storm, the guy from Baby Driver. He's got that, thing to him. So I post it, and then I get these comments about why him. I'm like, well, I think he'd be good. Well, don't you know he got he was like charged with like sexual like misconduct with like a minor and stuff. I'm like, oh really?
The Baby Driver guy?
Yeah, like I had no. This was like last year. I think he got he was messing with like a 17-year-old.
Didn't even know that. Wow.
And I didn't know it either. And I'm just sitting there. Oh really? And then I was contemplating, should I take this down? Should I re-edit it? But then I start thinking, no, I'm just I'm not going to learn that way.
Yeah.
You got to keep it up so people see you made a mistake, but you didn't run from it.
For sure. Yeah. Because then when you change it, then it looks like, oh, he knew and he just got a bad outcome. And now
Yeah. It's a bad look.
But I mean, that cancel culture is a very fickle thing. It's like you said, it's not consistent,
It's not.
And
because
there's
people because it can't be, because think about it.
It can be. But people aren't going to like that version. That's the difference.
No, because this is what I'm trying to say. I understand that it can't be consistent, But in saying that, I understand that, like, who do you charge with deciding the line, right? Because what I was gonna say is some people need to be canceled. I mean,
for
some
sure.
people need to be canceled. Like, you gotta be canceled. You pushed it too far, bro. You know what I mean? Like, some people, it's very few, you know, or I don't know, you know, we don't know until we know, right? But they need to be canceled. That needs to be there, you know, that needs to be there. The problem is when people use it to as an agenda to target people. And that's the problem. I think the best way to solve that is intention, is attempt, how we're saying. But if your intention is good, so you know, someone who cannot be canceled is Bill Burr. Bill Burr can't be canceled. The dude
Dave
comes
Chappelle.
out, he just say, yeah, because they just say things and they know they're not racist. They know they don't mean to harm anyone. They know that. They know that I'm just saying something, and that if you're mad, they know, hey, I didn't mean to make you mad. So I know you being mad is you. It would be different if they knew they were trying to make you mad and then you got mad. Then there's something there. There's like oh, whatever. They don't care. They don't care because they know they're not trying to be racist. They never sat there and was like, how am I going to be racist? How am I going to do this? They know they didn't do that. So as much as you kick and scream and want to pretend that they did, they know they didn't. So, and they don't care if they're on your show and they don't care if they're not on your show. So that kind of power is like, it supersedes cancel culture, right? Because
it's because they're being authentically who they are.
Exactly.
Because
and they've been that way for the beginning.
Exactly. They've not made any stipulations. They're not kissing ass.
Exactly.
We have a whole culture now of people trying to be someone else.
Yeah.
And including the people who are canceling and being canceled. Like I don't get angry at people who respond to, like, if when you hear something like a Me Too type deal, right? Like this, the what's the podcaster's name? The comedian, Chris D'Elia, is that his name?
Oh, Chris D'Elia.
D'Elia. He had his whole thing last year and everything.
He's back now. He's doing stuff again.
That's true. Yeah, he is back, and
in some capacity.
And that's up to him. That's up to him. You know, it's a free country. Internet's gonna do what it is. That's up to him. But when you hear what happened with him, I'm like, wait, why are you angry? Why would you react angrily to that? To like, say, a girl, right, who heard about that and said, wow, that guy's a pig or whatever. That's weird, at least what he did. I'm not going to be like, why would you say that?
Yeah. No,
we know what happened, right? We know what happened, you know, and we know what happened with him, with Louis, who was also trying to make a bit of a comeback. I don't know. I feel like when it comes to just canceling the hammer itself leaves out context. You know what I mean?
It does. And that's you're absolutely right. Cause actually the next point I was going to bring up was the Gina Carano thing. And so like, did I
I've been wanting to talk about this. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say is like, did I understand the canceling? Yeah, because I understood it from an employee. I've been an employee. I've had bosses that I don't agree with. And we all saw from an outsider's point of view, her posting stuff and Disney kind of being like, stop. And so we saw right when she was doing it, it had nothing to do with political views or anything like that. It was just like, dude, why are you doing that? You've been warned and you're doing it again. Like you're sending out touchy tweets. Is that right or wrong? That's the different conversation, right? And so that's what I'm trying to say is like, see, Gina, I don't think should have been canceled or whatever at all. Do I understand it from an employer stand base? Yes, because I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your employee, it doesn't matter if your employer is right. They pay your bills and they told you to cut it out and you didn't. And I'm mad because I wanted to see Gina Carano in her own show and in the next Mandalorian seasons. And now we're not, just because she had to tweet these weird tweets that like make some weird stretchy point where it's like, I get.
That's not even accurate, by the way. And it's not even accurate what she said, by the way.
And that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, even that's what I'm trying to say. Even if let's scratch what you just said. It's not accurate. Let's say it is. Let's say it is. It was, and we agree 110%. Let's say we did. It like that. You had to tweet. It's such a weak point and flimsy point. Even if we agree with it, it's so stretched. and you've been warned. So it's like, it doesn't matter if we agree with it or not. We all saw Disney tell you to stop tweeting touchy stuff, and then you did it anyways. And we're like, and I was just mad because when I woke up to the tweet, I already knew. And you know, we said it on this other podcast with Saga, but I already knew, like, oh man, she's gonna get fired.
That's it. And
yeah. And I didn't even finish reading the tweet. I read some stuff and it was like Germany, this, that. And I was like, I just put my phone down. I was like, she's fired. We're going to get the confirmation. And yeah, in a few hours, then we got the confirmation. She has been let go from Disney and whatever. And I was like, see, and I don't even care about I didn't even read the whole freaking tweet. I had to go back and read the whole thing because I was like, what was it again? You know, because I already knew. How did I, who was not in the business and I was not hired by Disney, know to not tweet that and know that she was going to get fired when she did that? But she didn't know she was going to get fired.
Well, I listened to your guys' discussion regarding that, and I thought there were some really good points brought up. But the thing is, you have to look at it in two different ways, right? There's what she said, and there's what the company had to do. Right, you know, there's the content of her post. There's the content, whether that's right or not.
Right.
And then there's their reaction.
Right. Yeah.
And you have, like, no one is putting themselves in those shoes. Like everyone is. And I think a lot of it is just like playing for the camera. You know, I think a lot of guys is like really putting. What was that?
You like it's your guy, so you have to back him. You know what I mean?
No matter what,
No matter what, and like, you know, it's kind of like that weird thing where you're like, you know, like, okay, like Saga's wrong, but hey, I'm coming up with these weird like, yeah, but it's fine. No, Disney messed up. Like, you know,
well, because this is an opportunity for me to continue the argument about free speech and how that certain like leftist Hollywood doesn't like differing opinions. And I'm glad to say that a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago, I had a discussion with a friend of mine where we ended up disagreeing about this very specific thing here. He felt one way about it. I felt the opposite way about it. I'm very glad that we had that conversation because it was civil. You know what I mean? It was not over Twitter. It was over the phone. Yeah.
You have to be willing to have the conversation.
Exactly.
And go in understanding that you and I may not agree. I'm trying to convince you, but we still may not agree.
Or not.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's okay if at the end of the day we both said our piece and we're not attacking the character of the person. We're just, you know, bringing up what was said and like, okay, well, we don't agree. We will go our separate ways. That's fine.
I think there's a shutdown. Like I've already made my decision on my own in my own house. Yeah. And so as soon as the topic is brought up, I already know, like, I'm going to get defensive and my hands come up because I don't even think it's that. I think it's understanding. It's not even trying to convince. I'm not trying to convince you. You know what I mean? You think whatever you want to think, you know?
And with things like this, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to make you understand where I come from. Does that make sense? So that whether you agree with me after the fact or before the fact, that doesn't really matter to me. I just want you to know, like, this is where I'm coming from. This is why I did that. You know what I mean? And so, does that convince you? Oh, it doesn't? Okay. Well, I still know why I didn't. At least now you know why I made that decision, and you know I'm not a bad person. I'm coming from a human stand. This is my perspective, and I'm not trying. No one's trying to hurt anybody. We're all just coming from our own experiences, and we have our own thoughts, you know. And so, you have to have that conversation. You have to, you know, it's kind of like going into a game and expecting not to lose. Like, there's only a 50-50 chance. You either win or you lose. And so that's the thing here is, like, we're gonna have this conversation and it might get a little intense, like, but I know Julius is Julius, right? I know Saga is Saga. So, like, I'm talking with Saga. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not talking to the idea. I'm talking to Saga. I'm talking to a human. And that's what I think people forget. And I think people shut down. You know, there's certain topics, there's trigger words where people, you know, religion, politics, they say, you know, gender, guns now. I think there's certain things, weed back in the 90s, like if you mentioned weed, people were like, oh, that's bad, because they thought they were supposed to say that, and they just shut down, right? And so there's certain topics where people just shut down. Oh, I'm supposed to hate gays because because all my friends hate gays and we hate gays. So,
it's the status quo.
Yeah,
have to follow the status quo or I'm kicked out of it.
And they don't listen. And now it's not even listening. Dude, the guy's not trying to convince you to be gay. He's just trying to make you understand. Just listen. And then you understand now where he's coming from. He's not trying to convince you to suck his dick. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what's happening. Like,
you don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what?
But if you're into that, it's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you think about it, if you break it down, that's really all it is. Like, I'm just trying to tell you who I am and like understand. I'm not
just let me be.
Really convince you. Yeah, I'm not really trying to convince you. That's not the goal. It's just calm down. Everybody calm down. Stop shutting down. Well, like when you hear words that scare you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, on Twitter and social media, it's just a bunch of people yelling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's
a bunch of people yelling with a image that's not even of them.
No. Yeah.
Well, that's why that's like part of the reason why I don't really use it anymore. The only thing I use is Twitter to really reshare posts for like podcasts and stuff. But I got off of social media like a couple of years ago at this point, just because it's it's addictive, and B, I put a lot of stuff out there that I wish. Not that I'm regretful, because I think I've learned from it, but like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? Like, I know the people are viewing the stories; they're not in the story. You know what I mean? And
that's the thing; it's a learning experience. You know?
Yeah.
I think I guess to wrap up everything, it's like we want these long-lasting relationships, right? We want this relationship for our job or for people to work, right? And we get upset when it doesn't. But the one relationship that we don't seem to focus on the most is with ourselves, right? Yeah. So it goes back to your point, like, it's about you. You know, you're not trying to be me, but it starts with you.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not good, you're not going to be able to put good shit out on Twitter. You're not going to be able to connect with people in the right way or understand where people are coming from, because you're like, well, I don't know me, but I'm going to judge you.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense, you know? So it's literally start with you first and then work outward.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Yeah, but I think that we're coming on to the end of our show. We've been on for a while. Julius, do you want to tell the people where they can find you?
Before he says all that, I want to say, like, thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Dude.
We will be inviting you back. There's more that we want to talk about.
Yes, there's way more.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
More. Yes,
that's very exciting, and I would love to do that. If anyone is interested in finding me or my co-host Angel, you can go to the Goat Movie Podcast on YouTube. You can look up the Goat Movie Podcast on any social media platform. He runs it, by the way. I'm not on any of that. Just because. And you can look us up for different reviews or discussions or live streams or edits or anything really revolving film. And I want to thank you guys for having me on. I love that we got to collaborate. I listened to Saga's music on Spotify. I really enjoyed Woke because due to Daniel's recommendation. And I'm surprised to hear that was from a couple years ago.
Yeah. I'm still woke.
I like that one. I like the Christmas songs a lot.
Nice.
I like Daniel keeping up the hustle here on the show no one asked for, setting everything up. Don't be afraid to ask, because I'm sure you're going to get more guests and more interesting discussions. And and I wanted to bring up on very quickly that I have listened to the podcast of yours when it was about the riots, when that was going on. A lot of time back when the Floyd thing happened, because it feels like you guys are finding a solution to the problem that we are going to have for a while. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like a brainstorming session of how to make things better, So that's why I feel like people need to listen because of that. Nice. So I think that would be awesome.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah,
for sure.
Cut deep cuts here. Deep cuts. I don't ask for a diehard fan over here. But thank you so much for coming on, Julius. I really appreciate it. For all the fans, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button for sure. And until next time, I'm Daniel.
I'm Saga MC.
Oh, and I'm the guest.
That's Julius. All right, see you guys. That's the show no one asked for, episode 622. Peace.
Peace.